Good morning, everyone. My name is Ryan Matera. I'm a senior at Fairfield Prep in Connecticut. I was blessed to be part of the Prep Immersion Trip to Salvador last year, and then to go again this year as a leader of a group which included Charlie.
Hello, I'm McGrath. I want to thank the ISN for this opportunity to speak to all of you about my experiences in El Salvador. As Ryan mentioned, I was a member of the Prep delegation to El Salvador in February of last year.
When I reflect upon my experiences in El Salvador, I can still feel the inescapably hot air and the ever-present stench of burning trash. I see the tattered and dirty streets lined with broken down walls covered in murals with themes of peace and justice. There's a nearby dusty field where children play soccer during their breaks from school they appreciate and attend with an enthusiasm unknown to us. I look into the sky and ashes raining down, creating a black atmosphere that the children are all too used to. And I see the children swarming around us, mysterious foreigners, because they know that when we come with Jolly Ranchers. These sensations have become synonymous with home, though I haven't spent much time there. It shouldn't make sense for me to want to return to a place like that, yet I yearn to go back. This desire comes from my heart and is based in the relationships I formed with the amazing people I met there. For the sweet Morena, who cooks for the delegations visiting while also caring for her granddaughter, left behind by her parents who emigrated to the United States in search of a better life. For Roberta, who runs a large co-op and is always quick with a joke but hides a life of pain and sadness for his people behind tired eyes. And for the amazing Rosie Iramar, who cares so genuinely about each delegation while simultaneously attending a local college, longing to someday use her education to serve her wonderful community. And it's a warm community. Their demeanor is that of a group of peaceful warriors constantly striving to save their home, which they love. They do this through education, week after week, accepting different groups of students from different countries into their homes, praying that they can change just one person's heart. The group of people we met were led by someone who considers herself to be a native of El Salvador, though she spent the majority of her life living in the United States. Sister Elena is a true hero to me. At 89 years old, she lives her faith strongly and thoroughly, spreading her love and devotion to something that is more than a cause to her. It has become a life mission. Instead of preaching that people ought to go down to El Salvador and make a difference, she's actively making that difference. She is in El Salvador. I remember a conversation with Sister Elena where I was praising her and her good work, yet she was appalled. In her mind, her mission had barely begun. After all she had done and sacrificed for them in the most complete act of solidarity possible, she's still plagued by her desire to do more. She's a living example of the Ignatian concept of the magis. That is who we should all strive to be. Someone who's completely empathetic, that they may feel others' joy as well as their pain as their own. Making that sacrifice is the first step to the wonderful realization that to give is to live. We must all recognize the injustice and wholeheartedly choose to fight it like Sister Elena. The world would be a better place. We'd all be more like her.
I can only begin to tell you all I learned from this truly transformative trip, but I will do my best to share the experience that affected me most, the story of La Casera. For those of you unfamiliar with this event, it took place in La Casera, El Salvador in 1981. An entire village was forced to abandon their homes as a part of the Salvadoran military's scorched earth policy, in which whole towns were destroyed. The villagers had to leave all they owned and all they knew, bringing only what could be carried with them. Just try and put yourselves in their shoes, waking up one night to the sounds of gunshots and explosions. As the military rode into your town, how would you react? What would you take with you, realizing you were becoming victims of your own government's scorched earth policy? Leaving almost everything behind, your homes you had lived in forever, with no chance of returning, in an effort to save your family. This was the reality for the Salvadoran people of La Casera. This was their home. This is where they grew up, playing as children and working as adults. It was all they knew. They had to leave it behind, knowing it would be gone forever, burnt to the ground. They marched miles up steep hills and through dense forests, often with inadequate clothing. Some did not even have shoes. They had little food and water and lived in constant fear that at any moment they could be killed. Then imagine the hope as they approached the river, hungry, thirsty, and tired, within an arm's reach, thinking they made it. They were going to cross into Nicaraguan territory and escape to be sheltered by those sympathetic to the rebel cause. This hope was crushed by the Nicaraguan military waiting on the other side. They realized all their pain and anguish was done in vain. Stuck between the Salvadoran military and Nicaraguans, they had nowhere to go. They were simply slaughtered. innocent children, women, and men who were just trying to escape with their lives. As visitors, we walked their path, heard stories from a few survivors who managed to escape, and sat atop the hill where the remains that have been recovered are buried. It was a deeply moving experience that I will never forget. They didn't only lose all they owned, they lost everyone in their lives. One of the survivors, Doña Rosalba, told that while making their way through the hills, wondering if her family and friends were still alive, she would see helicopters dropping the bodies of Salvadoran civilians that had been killed. It was a brutal scare tactic the Salvadoran military used to set an example of what was to come. I'm not telling you this just to make you sad, nor do I remember it just due to the sheer atrocity committed in La Casera. My life changed when I heard that the United States was both funding and training the Nicaraguan and Salvadoran armies. The scorched earth policy and other tactics used to corner these guiltless civilians was being taught to the national militaries by the United States, and these were efforts were funded by our government. It was disappointing, beyond words. I love my country so much, and I always thought we were the good guys. Clearly, in this instance, I was wrong. The United States failed the innocent women, children, and men of El Salvador. This is not due to a group of evil men in Washington. This happened because the American people were not actively well-informed citizens, so were unable to take a position on the Salvadoran conflict. That is all it takes. Apathetic citizens in democracy will be room for evil such as this. I entered this trip relatively indifferent to current events and foreign policy. I assumed when I grew up I'd enter the world of marketing like my father did. But hearing these people speak, seeing the pain in their faces as they tried to describe the horrors committed on their people, this inspired me to be a more informed, aware, and active citizen. I hope that what I experienced can help you all understand how important it is to be an informed citizen.
Last week, Charlie and I had the opportunity to meet Father Ferdinand Cardinal, a Nicaraguan liberation theologian. He preached of the value of life and suggested our worth derives from our sacrifice to others. As he put it, rather bluntly, if we do not live to serve, we do not deserve to live. Thank you for listening and enjoy your weekend.